Hey, today's Tuesday, August the 5th.
I'm Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia.
I'm Jeff Zias in Napa, California.
Hey, I'm Duke Carico, and I've got a messy desk. On this edition of Tech and Coffee's Android Journal, Apple can't brag about web usage anymore. Hey, Samsung's Q2, kind of dismal. We'll talk about it. Hey, and if you can't sell phones, sell drones. Hey, all this more in our app picks. Hey, guys, this is episode 67. Welcome, everyone.
Wow, 67.
Good to be here.
We're at the Medicare stage.
Yeah, man, I feel like I've been doing this as long as Guy Cook is old. I don't know. I'm not real sure if that's accurate or not, but that's
I got
what
my
I feel
favorite
like.
brew here. Look, this is Izzy Sparkling Blackberry. It comes from the health food store.
All right, very good, man. I guess what is it? Is that just like a real healthy carbonated drink, or
Yep,
is it is carbonated?
That's what it is, and it's Android powered.
Android powered. All
Yeah,
right.
it's a forked version of Android, but
Yeah, exactly. With organic sugar, right?
right.
All right, hey guys, let's get into it, and let's kick off here. First of all, for the first time ever, Android is beating iOS in web usage. This is something that Apple has really liked to brag about when they do their developer conferences. And for the first time ever now, Android has overtaken iOS in web usage stats. Okay? And I've got a couple of theories as to why it's beating them now in web stats. But Bruce, let me start with you, man. What do you think about these numbers? What's going on here?
Well, I think it's sheer numbers. I think as many iPhone 5s as they've sold. Android phones are selling really well. I was in the coffee shop today. You know, there used to be a time I'd see these college students. They'd have Apple, they'd have MacBooks, and they'd have iPhones. But I see a lot of them with MacBooks and Samsung Galaxy S5s and so forth and so on. So I think there's just a number of more devices out there. I think Amazon helps out with this. They got the new Amazon Fire phone. Regardless of what we think about it, it's an Android phone, and it's going to help these stats as well. So,
Hey,
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you think, man?
Well, and it's not just the phones, to tablets. I think that the Android tablets are beginning to make a foothold too, and there's so many more manufacturers of Android tablets and things like that. So, it doesn't really hurt the Apple fanboys, because they're still going to like Apple no matter what they do, and they're still going to put out a ton of iPhones coming out this quarter when the new iPhone gets released. So is it a sign of the times? Yeah, perhaps, but Apple still is going strong, right?
Yeah, I think if you could excuse not the right word, but if you could show individual Apple users web uses versus a comparable average of Android users usage, I think Apple would still be on top. I think it's just the fact, hey, 85% of all smartphone sales last quarter had Android on them. When you got numbers like that, I still think that people that use iPhones for whatever reason use the web more. They use the web more. But, with these numbers, this is something that, Apple can't roll out their developer conference and make fun of Android anymore. They've attacked tablets sitting on the shelves or in warehouses because people aren't using them, so forth, etc. They can't say that anymore,
No, they can't, and that's just wait till the Chinese market just starts taking off even more. More and more because the affordability of iPhones and tablets, are another factor, right? So when you get into other countries, Android's a lot more affordable and a lot more, approachable, I guess I should say.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, Jeff, because Samsung just reported their second quarter results this past week. And listen, there's a whole lot of numbers in Samsung's announcement here, and I'm not even gonna cover these numbers. I think there's two things that's really important that we need to know. Their operating profit for the quarter versus last year was 15% less. Okay, and the other thing that's important is they are basically blaming this, or a large part of this drop, on the mobile market. So, Jeff, I'm going to let you start first on this one.
All right. Well, I think again, I don't know the operating costs of Samsung, but they went in a couple directions, right? They try to launch the Galaxy Watch, that wasn't very successful, right? Or whatever they call it, Galaxy Wear, whatever it is, and that wasn't successful. They've gone the Tyson route. They haven't, done that, and that's not successful. So they make great phones, but now their key markets are beginning to crumble a little bit. I guess in China, as we were talking about in China, they're not selling. They're no longer the number one selling phone in China anymore. So there's a Chinese manufacturer, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, that is more popular now. So that market is getting saturated, and there's other phones that are just as good as the Samsung Galaxy series. You have the LGs coming out with great phones. You have HTC coming out with great phones. So all that is slowly eking into their market. And who knows, maybe even what you want to consider the Nexus line is making a little bit of a dent. So yeah, there's more opportunity to purchase high-end phones by other manufacturers, and it's beginning to come to roost for these guys.
The Chinese company is Xiaomi, however you pronounce it, and they're only 4 years old, and their shipments grew 240% from just a year ago. And so they're making not only a lot of phones, but they're making better phones, and it's providing a different choice.
I guess the question I'm going to pose to you, Bruce, is and I think what I'm hearing both you and Jeff say, I think you'd both be in agreement. This is a trend that's going to continue for Samsung. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yep, I believe so. Yeah.
We've talked the last couple of episodes about at least in the West, that probably tablet sales have reached a saturation point. Okay, but don't get me wrong, a lot of people have bought tablets, but they don't feel the need nor the urge to replace them, like they would their phone as soon as their 2-year contracts are up. And I think that and Samsung is notorious for, they're coming out with a new tablet every month, it seems,
Yeah.
And I think that they've done a whole lot to confuse the market when it comes to tablet sales. And then if you do, you look at the Chinese competition, and LG, I'm sorry guys, LG is building some tremendous phones nowadays. Back 3-4 years ago, I would have considered an LG maybe at the point of a Huawei or something like that, but you can't say that anymore. So I think that's what we're seeing here, guys, is general increased competition plus a slight lack of demand for a lot of their products.
And a lack of focus, right? They try to, they try to do the Tyson operating system, and that's not really happening for them. And then, the watches was a debacle. I don't think they sold those watches, right? So I think one thing this article we're talking about did highlight is that their chip manufacturing, that's way up, right? But their own, create their own phone manufacturing and profitability on that is down. So they're still supplying the mobile market with lots of internal memory and processing chips and things like that. So that's part of it. So boy, if they didn't have that, it would look even worse, right?
I agree. All right, man. Hey, guys, when I saw this, I just had to chuckle. And by the way, I thought that was a pretty good little hook in the opening monologue there. Hey, if you can't sell phones, sell drones. And that's basically the approach that Sprint is going to take. I'm sure they're hoping to sell drones along with the phones they sell. But I found this interesting, and I've got a couple of opinions. But before I express them, Jeff, good move for Sprint.
Well, if you have you ever walked into have you walked into a Verizon store?
Sure.
Yeah, they have Parrot drones there you can buy in the store. So it's not unique just to Sprint, but I guess buying it online is. But I don't want a drone anyways. That's something I would smash up against a tree one time and go, oops. But they're fun to play with, I'm sure. And everyone and their mother wants to put a GoPro on a drone and fly it over their house, and then maybe fly next to their neighbor's house, go next to Bruce's house, go through the window and see what he's actually doing. If he actually has that BlackBerry Izzy drink in his hand or not. So I don't know. It's a disposable income, $160. Is it good for Sprint? I don't know what their profit margins are on that. Probably very little.
Hey, this is Christmas in Radio Shack. You ever go to Radio Shack during Christmas time? They got all these remote-controlled robots and remote-controlled cars and everything. So there's this current fad about drones, and I think, you bring your family in, and, that you're going to sell a drone. Maybe they'll have a subsidized drone, or maybe, kick it in. If you buy 2 phones, we'll throw in a Parrot drone, But that's what it reminds me of, Christmas at Radio Shack.
Okay, well, here's my thoughts, guys. Actually, I'm kind of happy for Sprint. Sprint has struggled as a cell phone company, and Bruce, you mentioned Radio Shack, and I think everybody is aware of their financial woes.
Yep. Maybe
what Sprint should do is, kind of just sell toys and get out of the cell phone business, because a lot of people claim they don't really know anything about cell networks anyway. So this might be a new opportunity for them, where they can get out of one business that they're kind of losing in and get into another and capitalize on others' losses.
Start selling batteries, yeah.
What do you think, man?
Think about all those locations out there. They could pick up Radio Shack really cheap. Radio Shack sells Sprint phones anyway, so they buy Radio Shack and we call it the Sprint Shack, and they get an exclusive on Sprint phones.
And then they'll partner with Best Buy.
And it kind of be, as they exit out of one business and go into another, it could be like, hey, buy a Parrot mini drone and get a free HTC M8 with Verizon service for 1 penny more.
Now, was Sprint trying to buy T-Mobile? Wasn't Sprint trying to buy T-Mobile for a while there?
Once upon a time, there was talk of a merger between Sprint and T-Mobile, yes.
So, since they couldn't merge, they decided to start selling toys.
And we drone on.
There's not too many. Just wait. We haven't really talked about that, but there's going to be some more consolidation of some other, wireless companies, because it's just going to happen, and then the prices just keep on going up.
As much as I disagree with it, I can understand. You selling a tablet with a 2-year agreement and some sort of data plan, but come on, guys. These are toys. What are these cell network companies doing selling toys? I'm sorry.
Because they want to sell you extra minutes for battery life, because they're only good for about 8 to 10 minutes fly time. So if you want to use your Sprint phone for 5 more minutes.
A toy helicopter. You don't need. There's nothing about a Sprint store that you need to fly a toy helicopter.
But think of the data increase, the data usage increase, since you're controlling this with your phone, Multiply that.
Exactly. And these drones don't take motion pictures, they take snapshots. So,
Yeah, anyway.
Pictures like this.
The honest truth, though, guys, I will confess, I would like to have one of these things. And why I think I want one is because there's talk about about banning them. You know, there's
No.
so much contract. Man, it would be kind of fun to have
You
one.
know what you could do is you could take your concealed weapon, put it on the drone. And just be breaking multiple laws, fly it anywhere you want.
All right. All right, guys, I'm moving on. And listen, Robert Taylor couldn't be with us tonight, and I really wanted Robert's take on this next article. First of all, Robert's kind of mad at Verizon over the announcement last week that they were going to they're going to start throttling your 4G unlimited data plans regardless of whether you're grandfathered on one or not. And a lot of red flags went up across the internet. The FTC the FCC made some comments over it. But basically, Verizon has responded to this, and basically they're saying, hey, look, there's data hogs out there, and right now we have nothing to do to stop data hogs. And if Robert were here, I would tell him that he and I are data hogs. Okay? Robert uses about 10 gigabytes on his Verizon phone per month. And, Verizon saying anybody that's using 4.7 gigabytes or more per month is a hog, and all they're going to do is throttle them on certain towers. Robert, I think, has a very valid argument on how can you prove what towers are crowded when you throttle me. I mean, I think that's legitimate,
Yeah, and I think the FCC came out with the point that why are you separating out just that tier of customer to throttle down, right? If it's on, you should be throttling everybody on that tower. Why are you singling out and penalizing just that class of customers? And and Verizon's response is, well, everyone else does it. It's kind of like, that's like a kid. Well, little Billy's doing it over there, and Tommy did it. Why can't I do it? Well, you can't jump the fence. Because you have a contract saying you're not going to, and it's not throttling; it's network optimization, right? So, they're just trying to balance that need. Yeah,
I got to say, I have a great admiration for people with Robert's skills. You can be driving down the road in your pickup truck, and you can be your own mobile hotspot. You got your Nexus 7 doing the GPS and the Hangouts, and the wife's Chromebook, and the kiddos in the back seat with their tablets and phones and everything. I mean, it's a nice deal. But it's amazing. Verizon didn't help themselves. Obviously, this has been bad PR for Verizon at the same time that T-Mobile is offering these incredible deals, which Robert talked about last week. So I think they got some splaining to do.
Yeah, but they still have a great network. I mean, they do have great coverage. It's regrettable, but they do. So.
Do you know why they have a great network?
No, why?
Well, they make a lot of money off their customers, and one way to make more is to get you off of a grandfathered plan, to where if you're someone like Robert, your bill is going to increase probably about $60 per month.
Well, I'm on Verizon. I had the grandfathered plan as well, right? And I'm not even coming close to what Robert uses, and I'm just upset that this is my agreement with them. It's unlimited, and they're breaking their contract with me, and they're doing it just because they can.
Well, and listen, we keep talking about Robert here like it's that he's some sort of exception, but there's a lot of people on the Verizon network who have worked very hard to keep their grandfathered data.
They actually buy new phones out of contract, and they pay the full price for it.
And we're talking $700-800 phones out of contract.
Exactly.
And I think that is one reason why so many people have really been pretty vocal about this move by Verizon, not just the FCC.
Yeah, sure. And that's why that's if you purchase something because you're under the premise that you're not going to be subsidized for the phone, and you're willing to accept that and take that additional cost because you wanted the unlimited plan, you shouldn't be penalized for that. You made a decision based on the information that Verizon had at the time, Yeah. And now they go back and they change it. So it'll be they're going to end up doing it regardless, right? I don't know if they said they're not going to do it based on the FCC's concerns or customers' concerns.
Do you think that, Bruce, let's see, we're all about the same age, I guess, even though...
Yeah, but I see that begs the question. I'm trying to figure out why Jeff has a grandfathered plan when he's not even a grandfather.
Not that I'm aware
you and I, Duke, we're grandfathers, so we deserve the grandfather plan.
Absolutely, and I was getting ready to say that even though I am a grandfather, I probably look at least 45 years younger than you two.
Oh
yeah, it's that lighting.
This head's already worn out 3 good bodies already.
I heard that. Yeah. All right, hey, listen. I'm going to move on here. Hey guys, a Google story, and not necessarily an Android story, but a Google story. And I don't want to spend a lot of time here. I put a poll up in the Tech and Coffee community, and got quite a bit of, let's just put it this way, before it was over with, there were several idiots calling other people idiots, okay? And went back and forth. What I did, I posed the question, does Google have a right to notify authorities of your email content? And anybody who follows anything about tech knows that a sicko, guy who had kitty porn in his Gmail, got busted. And he got busted because Google tipped, it's the organization for missing and exploited children. And I think from there they went to Houston police. Houston police arrested this guy. They did indeed find even, more porn on his devices. And hey, I know I'm happy that the guy got busted. But still yet, this started with Google notifying authorities. Mm-hmm. Jeff, let me ask you this question. Did Google have in other words, when they found this porn in this guy's email, did they have any other choice but to report him?
Did they have any other choice? Sure, they had choices. But they chose to take the higher ground and publish this, make it public that they'd done this as well. And they probably knew there was going to be a little backlash of security and privacy concerns with other individuals about reading emails, and that kind of Scroogle campaign talked about skimming emails. But they're not going to. They didn't talk about how they did it and how they have that masking program that can actually look at images on the attachments to your email to figure out what you are sending. So, they didn't find it from the content. They found it from the pictures that he was sending, right, in the emails, attachments. So, do they have the? And can they? Should they? I think they should personally. If they uncovered a plot to commit a crime as something, a terrorist plot, based on something, you would want them to report that to the authorities. So I would say they have a moral obligation to do that, and they have a right based on their user agreement that you agree to do it. So, and if you don't like that, don't use their services. You know, you use another service that you believe doesn't do that. But quite honestly, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a free service that doesn't read your email.
Bruce,
or scan it.
I want your thoughts on the same question, please.
Yeah. There's a difference between the obligation to report a crime and a company deciding it's their responsibility to undercover criminal activity. Obviously, I think if you discover something on your network, like on YouTube, you see somebody posting something, it's obvious. YouTube is really good at finding out when you're using copyrighted music in the background and stuff like that, and they flag you for that. And Jeff does bring up a really good point about the terms of service. If they have a right to enforce their terms of service, which means they have a right to put into process. And this, there's been a lot more reporting about this program that Google has created. I mean, it's incredible what they've come up with. So, there's a balance between their right to enforce their terms of service to make sure that child pornography is not being trafficked over their servers and the internet, and then the obligation to report. I know that as a pastor, for instance, or a counselor, or a school teacher, or a nurse, or a doctor, anybody in those professions, when you suspect child abuse, you are required by law to report it, and if you don't, you create a crime. So it's a really difficult issue, and I think really, this issue about them enforcing their terms of service is probably the most important way to look at it. It is unnerving to think about. Of course, my emails don't have anything, bad in them, so I'm not concerned about being discovered like that. But if they feel like that somebody is violating their terms of service, I think they have a right to ensure that it's not, and if it is, to enforce it. Either kick them off their network, or in this particular case, they reported it to the authorities. But it was interesting to see that thread and the different way that people approach this question.
Yeah. The other thing is, they did it on the going through emails, but I've seen, and I think we've all seen, content on Google Plus that was very disturbing, and that got taken off, but it didn't go to my guess is it didn't go to an authority to have someone prosecuted. So I wonder how they decide this person gets signals, kind of positioned in that way, and these guys don't, because I've seen a lot of different stuff on Google Plus. A couple disturbing images with involving kids, and you can't get out of your mind once you see it either. It's
those bald-headed shots of me and my grandchildren, Jeff. All I can do is apologize, and I will continue to post them.
I know, but once you see it, you want to.
First of all, I don't think that this is the first kiddie porn guy that has ever been caught with this hash. Okay?
Yeah.
I think this is the first one that we've heard about, and a lot of the tech media has run with it. I know Leo Laporte brought it up on his Twit network Sunday night. I've seen it on several podcasts already, and I think a lot of people try to compare it with the postal service reading your mail, okay? That your mailman is opening it up before he puts it in your mailbox. I think that's very inaccurate, because the postal service is run by our government, all right? And Google is a company, and we did sign a terms of service, all right? And,
well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that I guess to try to spur discussion, I wanted to come at it in the Tech and Coffee forum, like, what if it was political? Okay, what if it was a Democrat organizing And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I'm glad Google did this. I'm glad they've got this hash, like they call it. I think this thing started out. It was developed jointly by Google and Microsoft. I know Yahoo uses it also, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing to catch these child pornographers.
Yeah, and I agree with you, but I think my point was this is made of news because it was a program that is, interrogating terabytes of data and coming out with this, right? But what I'm saying is, on Google Plus, I've seen images that people have reported, right? That users have said this is pornographic or this is, obscene, and I don't know if those same images have got to the authorities the way this did. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And that's my point. Where it's different when a program goes through and finds this guy under with and it just highlights their amazing technology, and then you have regular Google Plus users commenting to the community manager that this guy's posting obscene things. Does the community manager say, okay, I'm going to report this to the child, to the next authority? I don't know if that actually has taken place. So that's my point. I don't know why I want to differentiate that, but I did.
Fair enough. Bruce, you got anything else you want to add?
We know that the government, the NSA, whatever, monitors conversation emails and stuff like that. Maybe they're looking for terroristic things. But so the issue that always has to be in the back of your mind when you were talking about political issues is, who has the power with this and what else can they do with it if you want to stifle certain speech and things like that. So, and I also find it interesting that Google made no bones about this. I think it was almost like a PR move. This is what we're going to do. This is why we're going to do it. They didn't hide or run away from it. I think they've endured, they've endured the initial storm about it, and I think, and it's good that we're talking about it tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I say, I guess I purposely tried to cause a little controversy in the forum, and at the end of the day, I appreciate everybody's comments. And here again, I was really surprised at the different takes. And again, I think a lot of them fair. I think it's very hard to give an analogy on government, political parties versus child pornography. Okay, I just don't think you can make a valid argument to apply it there, even though I tried to, just to see what kind of reactions I could get.
Yeah, but again, a political thing is totally, when you show pictures of Israelis or Gaza children dead, right? That's a political discussion, right? And how do you handle that versus child pornography? They're both endangering kids, so there is a line. I don't know what that line is, but there is a line someplace, if that makes sense.
Sure. All right, guys. Hey, listen, who are we? Well, we're Tech and Coffee. We are a community that formed around November of 2011, and we've been hanging out every day ever since. And we want to invite you guys to come hang out with us. You can go to techandcoffee.info and look for a place that says Join the Hangout. Click on that, and hey, man, grab your favorite beverage. Come on in. We're in all hours, but typically on the East Coast we get started about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we run on through to the night. So come join us. You can also follow our Twitter and Facebook accounts at Tech and Coffee 1. YouTube, we're at Tech and Coffee. Our favorite social network is Google Plus. And click on that, do a search for Tech and Coffee, click on that TNC logo. You can also catch our podcasts on great podcast stations such as Stitcher Radio and iTunes. Hey, questions, comments, and snide remarks, throw them to AJ at techandcoffee.info. Hey, Bruce, what kind of app you got for us this week, man?
Well, I'm glad to do that, but before I do that, I just want to underscore this invitation that you've extended to have people come and visit us on the Tech and Coffee Hangout. You got questions about Android phones, about iPhones, you got questions about Linux operating system, Chromebooks. If you're a web developer, we have several people that do WordPress and Drupal and Joomla sites, and we'd love to have you hang out. Trust me, you won't be embarrassed. You will enjoy it. You'll be greeted with a friendly greeting, and I'd love to see you there personally. So if for no other reason, come say hi to me. I work from home, and I'm usually in there a fair part of the day. So my app of the week is actually an app rant, and I want to talk a little bit about Facebook Messenger. This is a particular article, and there were several of them out there. This one was by Huffington Post. And most of you are probably aware that Facebook is undergoing some change. You're not going to be able to message people on the using the Facebook mobile app. You're going to be required to have a separate app, Facebook Messenger. Well, I tried it when they first released it several months ago, and I just got tired of that little annoying bubble popping up on my screen and the little annoying noise that it makes and stuff like that, especially when I could message people, using the normal mobile app. Well, they're forcing you. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. Fortunately, you can still do it right now, at least on the version of Facebook I have on my Android phone. And I believe I'm part of the Facebook beta crowd. I believe I agreed to allow them to push, newer versions of the Facebook Android app to my phone and this sort of thing. But here's the deal with this Messenger app. And I know that there are a lot of apps that collect a lot of data, that send it to marketing firms and advertising agencies and so forth. Some articles I've read say that there are some apps that gather as much as 30 pieces of data every hour and transmit it onto other sites. But I think this Facebook Messenger app just goes a little bit over the top. Here's some of the things. You can see them on the screen there. Like this one here. Allows the app to call phone numbers without your intervention. This may result in unexpected charges or calls. Malicious apps may cost you money. Or this one. Allows the app to send SMS messages. This may result in unexpected malicious apps. May cost you money by sending messages without your confirmation. This is really kind of spooky here. Allows the app to record audio with the microphone. This permission allows the app to record audio at any time without your confirmation. And not to be outdone here, this allows the app to take pictures and videos with the camera. This permission allows the app to use the camera at any time without your confirmation. How about this one? Allows the app to read your phone's call log, including data about incoming and outgoing calls. This permission allows apps to save your call log date, and malicious apps may share call log data without your knowledge. And then just one more, and there are more here, but allows the app to read data about your contacts stored on your phone, including the frequency with which you are called, emailed, or communicated in other ways with specific individuals. I have deleted Facebook Messenger off of my phone. I'm seriously considering deleting the Facebook app off my phone and letting my only interaction with Facebook be on my laptop or my desktop. So, Facebook Messenger, not very good. I wouldn't put it on your phone if I were you.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Facebook on the mobile.
I guess I'm amazed at the Facebook threads that I see of people talking about how they distrust Google, and they're saying that on Facebook. I find that so ironic. Okay, thank you very much, Bruce. I hadn't seen that. I wasn't aware of it, and I really appreciate you passing that on.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what do you got, man?
Well, you have something that I'm sure that a lot of people have, but I just recently did, and let me do that right now, and that is I'm sharing my screen here. Google Now Launcher. Okay, and it's been released for other versions of Android, right? So I have a Android version 4.1.2, and Google Now Launcher now supports that. And what it does, let me fire this up really quick. I'm gonna turn off my screen share, and I don't like it. So here's my version. I'm on version 4.1.2. So I'll go back to my home screen here, and the Google Now Launcher it basically has three screens on it. Google Now, and then you see, obviously, if you say the magic words, you can search.
Excuse me
Yes.
there just a second. I just need to say happy birthday to Kevin Toffel.
There he is. He's on my Google Now. Yeah.
And for people that don't know, Kevin writes for GigaOM, and he's a big Chromebook fan. He's written some great Chromebook articles, and I really enjoy his writing. So happy birthday, Kevin.
And if you want to also know some other things, the stocks today were down. And some, Giants are playing tonight. But what I don't like is that some of the widgets don't work correctly anymore on the Google Now, on the apps, on the launcher. So before, I used to be able to swipe down on my favorites list, and I'd pull up all my contacts, and now that doesn't work. And also, the transitions going from one app to another app is really, really slow. So, for example, I'm going to try this right now. Okay, Google, open My Tracks.
Yeah, that didn't work good.
That didn't work at all, right? Let's try it one more time. Open My Tracks. So it should go out to My Tracks and kind of figure it out, open the app, and then launch it. And look how long it takes. It just takes a long, long time. So it's just beginning to find My Tracks, and now it's opening it up. So I don't know. I expect something much better. It slowed down my phone probably about 20%. And just because of that, I kept it on so I can show for this app here. But regrettably, I'll be taking this off my phone after this show. So it's probably better on a better processor, maybe a more updated phone than I have. I have a Razer Max, but I love my phone still, and it just Google Now Launcher didn't really do it for me. So a thumbs medium. I guess it depends on the phone.
Yeah, Jeff, I just got to say that my experience with Google Now has not been as inferior as what I just saw from you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't have the camera set up here. I'm going to try and just do this right here. Okay, Google? Okay, Google?
Yeah, it's just about the same.
Open My Maps. And you can't, it's washed out, but it's the map launched. I know it wasn't My Tracks, but that's just trying to show you.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, okay, Google, set a reminder.
What's the reminder?
Take my mother to dinner.
When do you want to be reminded?
4 p.m.
Here's your reminder for Wednesday at 4 p.m. Do you want to set it?
Yes.
Setting reminder.
All right. I'm just trying to give you a feel for how well the Google Now experience works on my Nexus versus what I just saw from you, Jeff.
Yeah, you can see how slow it was for my
was
Razr
terrible.
Max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was terrible. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I hear you. All right, man. This week, my app is an app. First of all, if you guys know me and you watch the show, you know that I really like the Stitcher Radio app. Really like it a lot. But lately I've been trying some other podcasting apps. I found this one, PlayerFM, and it's got some great reviews. In fact, it's been featured on Android Central and several other apps, or I'm sorry, some web magazines. And this is a great, great podcasting app. And what sets this app above most other podcasting apps is I can listen to a podcast on, say, my phone, come inside the house and pick up my tablet and pick up where I paused it on my phone. In other words, it syncs across devices. And another thing that I really liked about this app is I did a search on Android, and one of the top shows when I did the search on Android was our show, Android Journal. And this is a very complete, a very good app, and like I say, the ability for it to sync across devices really makes this much more valuable than a lot of your podcasting apps that are available right now. This thing is free, and just a second here, I do want to check. Currently, it's rated 4 and a piece of a fifth star, 3,326 times. If you're looking for a solid podcasting app with the ability to use it on more than one device, I'm going to highly recommend that you check out Player FM Podcast and Sync. And that is my app for this week.
Nice.
So it's kind of got a whisper sync feature to it. I like that.
Yes, it's very nice. Okay, listen, guys, before I call this a show, I thought it was time to add a new feature to Android Journal. I'm calling it Grab Bag. And what we're going to do here is really, really quickly talk about what did I do with it. There it is. Hey, just some responses that I got from last week's show to this week's show. First of all, John Blunt is saying, I'm watching episode 66 and noticed you were talking about the Facebook messaging app being forced on you. If you access Facebook from the mobile site, this does not happen. I go there often, so I don't even have the app loaded. Just use the mobile site. Give it a try. This rolls back to Bruce's point of when he installed the Messenger app and just what an intrusive app this can be. So there's some good solid advice from one of our listeners to hey, you know, if you go to the mobile site, you won't have to put up with that. And here again, my solution is just don't use Facebook Messenger. One more here. This is from Michael Sanders. Hi, guys. I really like the podcast Android Journal. Long-time listener. Quick questions. One of your hosts, whose name I can't remember, but is a pastor and spent most of his life in jail, mentioned a few weeks ago about bricking his Note 2. I just bricked my Note 2. What did he do to unbrick his Note 2? Thanks, Mike. Bruce, you want to just quickly recap here what you did through that?
Yeah. First of all, I've never been in jail, but I have jailbroken my iOS phones before, but maybe that was the confusion. But yeah, I took an over-the-air update from AT&T of Android 4.4.2, and because my phone had been previously rooted, it ended up bricking my phone. So it was a couple of days, easily 48 plus hours, and just kind of banging it away. It's almost kind of like hitting it with a rubber mallet. I finally was able to get my phone back to stock 4.1.2, and then subsequently it offered me 2 updates in a row. One got me to 4.3, and the next one got me to 4.4.2. So I'm back to where I need to be. I feel bad, though, that Michael hasn't been able to take care of his. He's had to, but he did get a Note 3 out of the deal. So, you know.
Yeah, but now, are you still rooted?
No, I'm not rooted right now, and I have no desire to root again. The only reason I was rooted the last time is when it went to 4.3. Tethering was not available, and I had to use a tethering app called Wi-Fi Tether, and you had to be rooted to use that app. But now you can tether. AT&T, it doesn't matter. You can tether. You don't have to pay extra for tethering. AT&T's got a little Wi-Fi hotspot app on there, and as long as I stay within my 10 gigabytes a month, I'm good.
Very good, Bruce. All right, man. Real quick, hey, go to techandcoffee.info and hang out with us, guys. We'd love to meet you. Like I say, bring your favorite beverage. We're in there daily, talking tech, and we're looking forward to meeting you. Also, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, Tech and Coffee 1. YouTube channel is Tech and Coffee. Search for us on Google+. Search for Tech and Coffee, and look for that TNC logo. Hey, man, check us out on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, or your favorite podcasting app. And if you've got a favorite podcasting app, hey, let us know what it is by emailing us at aj@techandcoffee.info. Hey, guys, have a great rest of the week. We will catch you in 7. Peace out, gang.